Hello. I wanted to give you an overview of the three different tools we've been working with so far and how their relationship helps us solve problems. Kind of what's going on conceptually, how do they fit together? So here we are. Here's our three standard or basic forms. We have standard form for quadratic, we have factored form, and we have vertex form. The standard form is written something x squared plus something x plus something. And this a, b, and c, these can be positive, negative, they can be fractions, they could even be zero. This is standard form. Factored form is when we take our quadratic and we break it into just linear pieces so that they're easy to work with. So I have just linear pieces multiplied together to give me my quadratic. Vertex form, this is the new one, this section. Vertex form looks like a perfect square plus something. It could also be plus a negative as well. For these, the different tools we often use, standard form, distribution. A lot of times we're multiplying everything out to get to standard form. Factored form, we use the zero product rule. That's when we set the different pieces equal to zero in order to get x by itself really easily. And vertex form is that new tool, completing the square. That's when we're creating this new square piece and compensating for how we need to manipulate. A lot of times, standard form will be plugging in 0 for x, and that will give us the y-intercept really, really easily. Y-intercept on our parabola is where it crosses that y-axis when x is 0. For factored form, it's really useful for finding the zeros or where our parabola intercepts the x-axis. And then for vertex form, we of course can easily find the vertex or the maximum minimum, depending on which way your parabola is facing. I have here just a quick example. This is the same quadratic, the same parabola. It's just written in three different ways. And I would challenge you to see if you can start with one form and turn it into the other forms. You can start with any one you want to try to get the other forms. So even though these all have different looking pieces and different numbers, I want to show you that they are indeed the same quadratic. And I can also tell you just by looking at these, the different parts of the parabola. For example, I can tell you that the y-intercept is negative 27. The x-intercepts are positive 3 and negative 9. And my vertex will be at negative 3, negative 36. You see how those numbers correlate to what it is I'm saying. I'm just picking the numbers and saying the piece of the parabola that it tells me. Let me show you. I'm not trying to pull anything on you here. Here we are. So here's my standard form, and it creates this parabola. Here it is in factored form. Notice that it just lays exactly on top. It makes the same parabola, even though we've changed things around a bit. And here it is in vertex form. So these are three different tools that tell you different information. So the first one I said, the y-intercept, would be negative 27. Oh, sorry, y-intercept. There it is, where it crosses the y-axis. Negative 27. And my zeros, I said, would be at 3 and negative 9. Let's check this one. Negative 9, 3, and the vertex tells me that I will have a minimum at negative 3 and negative 36. we go. That's why these three different formulas are useful in three different ways. But it's still the same equation. We're not changing anything, even when it looks different. Okay, cheers.